Ron Jones from Lean Berets. Today I want to tell you a little personal story. Some of the people that know me know that I like to, do a little bit of woodwork around the house, kind of a meditation of motion for me, if you will. And especially like to work on vintage fitness equipment. And I got into buying a few pairs of older clubs and finishing them and restoring them. And I started thinking the other night when I was working in the garage that maybe it's not really about working on a fitness tool, it's about humanity. So I'm going to tell you a little personal story that came to me. When I got these clubs, I can tell you, especially this pair, it was this pair of clubs, they were ready for the fireplace. And they were actually not made very well. They were beaten up, gouged, scratched. The finish was horrible. They were pretty ugly, to be honest with you. They just didn't look good, and they didn't feel good either. It just like they hadn't been cared for properly. I got this pair from a actual Persian gymnasium that went out of business, and these were actually quite unique because they're made out of one piece of wood, and usually these are Persian meals, both these pairs. They're made from different pieces of wood laminated together. So they were worth investing in, but they looked horrible. They were finished, but it was this horrible, ugly brown color, and again they were scratched and beaten and in pretty poor shape. So as the story goes, I started working on these, and I started thinking more about what the life lesson was. Obviously, I'm getting some more fitness tools, and I can teach some workshops with these, and that's great. But what does it really mean? Because I think a lot of times lessons in life are like good literature. Hemingway talked about his writing being like an iceberg. The obvious is sticking up above the water. Okay, I can see that. It doesn't take a lot of intellect to see something pretty obvious. But what's underneath of the surface, like an iceberg, most of it's under the water. You can't see, you have to go deeper. So I think working with people can be like working on these historic tools. Sometimes they're a little beaten up and gouged and blemished, and maybe they're not cosmetically appealing to some people, but if you spend enough time and basically love and care, I think you can bring out something really good in a person. And let's think about this for a minute, even more so. There was some hard physical work involved, and so oftentimes in fitness today people don't want to do the work, and so they don't get the results. So I think that's an important part of getting fit and remolding your body and becoming a different person, sure. So especially with these clubs, I had to do quite a bit of heavy sanding, or somewhat, a little bit, and use different types of sandpaper, put a little muscle into it. But I can honestly tell you that most of what I got out of these clubs in terms of beauty and bringing them back to life was just the love and the care part of it. Yes, there was some hard physical elbow grease work involved, but most of it was just paying attention. It's the fine sanding and using my fingertips to feel it, and just being mindful and in the moment. And over time, in a couple of weeks, these clubs are like completely different people, if you will. So I think there's a lesson there. It's worth passing on, and I hope it helps someone watching this. That especially if you're in the fitness business, oftentimes certain types of people get ignored, but ideally, if you're a real health person, you want everyone to play, and that's always been our philosophy at the Lean Berets. We don't like to exclude people. I don't really care what you look like, or it doesn't matter where you come from. We want everybody to play and not be a spectator, but be in the game. And so I think metaphorically, working on something like this, where they came a long way, but it was definitely worth the effort, and it's worth passing along not just the physical tool, but the spiritual story and the lesson. So I hope you enjoy that and you think about it, and maybe get some old tools and work on them, but think about what it really means.